With my magnifying glass, I can see all the way down there. It's the New York Knicks at the bottom of the standings. Yet again, they rank dead last in shooting, dead last in scoring, and towards the bottom half of the league in defense. Why is this relevant? Because today we're going to review the Eastern Conference as of what we've seen so far. While 25 to 26 games is a smaller sample size, we're going to review what we've seen and preview potentially the rest of the year. Giannis and the Bucks dominating, the 76ers doing what they do. The Brooklyn Nets hanging on with Kyrie always being hurt. The Boston Celtics playing well. The Raptors playing better than people expected. And perhaps the biggest surprise, the Miami Heat and what they have brought to the table. So we're going to sit down here, talk about these teams and what I think will happen the rest of the year. And why the New York Knicks can switch coaches all they like, they're still bad. And actually, the Knicks have their first win streak of the season, 2 in a row. Let's talk about it. Eastern Conference in the NBA is more balanced now than it's been in quite a while. And with that being said, we're going to talk about some of these teams today, what it is that we can probably expect from them in the second half of the season, what we've seen so far, and just how exactly this is all playing out. Now, the first thing I want to talk about, because it's my video, and I'm going to do so, even though they're completely irrelevant, is the New York Knicks. The New York Knicks are 6-20, and like I mentioned in the intro, they are ranked dead last in shooting, scoring, and towards the bottom half of the league in defense. Now, clearly they're ranked last in shooting because if you've ever watched the Knicks games, you can tell that the first thing they do is force shots that are not going to go in. If the Knicks made just maybe 30% more of the shots that they took, they would probably be 3 games below 500, if not 500. The New York Knicks are 6-20 and tied with the Atlanta Hawks at the bottom of the Eastern Conference yet again. Now, clearly we didn't get Kyrie or Kevin Durant, but I at least expected some fight from this team. There have been some bright spots. Marcus Morris, RJ Barrett has his moments, and despite that, there really hasn't been much else. The team continues to force shots. They can't connect. They have no chemistry whatsoever. They fired David Fizdale, and yes, we are on a 2-game win streak, but we're going to get tested tomorrow in Denver against a good team. Now, if we were to beat Denver tomorrow, maybe it's the Knicks turning the page. But if you are a New York Knicks fan, you know that that is probably anything but the truth. The New York Knicks, in my opinion, are going to continue to have a decimating season in the second half. And it's just going to keep embarrassing me all season long. The Knicks will not make the playoffs. They will not. One thing they will do, actually, is they will win more than 17 games. But they will not make the playoffs, like I said. And it's just an embarrassment. That's really what it is. You know, I've sat here, made different videos breaking down what's wrong with the Knicks, the ownership, the coaching is in disarray, the players don't have chemistry, they're too young, they're forcing shots. It's just an entire disaster for the Knicks. And, you know, Julius Randle's been playing good, but it's just, like I said, the team is not good. You have players that are decent on the team, but you don't have anybody on the team that is good. And I don't mean that they aren't talented. What I'm trying to say is that you have players that are put together that are not a good team. Again, and that's just the moral of the story for the New York Knicks, so I don't expect really much of anything for them for the rest of the season. The Orlando Magic, somehow, if I am correct, have a playoff spot as we speak, and that is the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference. Why is that relevant? It's really not, because the Orlando Magic aren't going to do a damn thing, and if they make the playoffs or not is up to them. The 8th seed in the Eastern Conference each and every season is a team that does not deserve to make the playoffs in any sport. It is usually a mix between the Magic, Pistons, and Hornets, and currently right now the Magic are 11-14 and hold the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference. I don't look for anything to happen between the Magic. I'm not even going to talk about them because I just think the Magic are not relevant in any type of conversation. Yes, they have Vucevic and they have some players, but they have not done anything of importance. Here's a team I will talk about, and that's the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets are 2 games above 500. They're 13-11 and currently ranked 7th seed in the Eastern Conference. Again, the seedings that I am going over and ranking don't really have much of any material behind it because we've only played 25 games. Had I made this video 30 games later, I think it would be a little bit better. But I wanted to get something out, especially because this weekend is going to be a drier weekend, with next week being more exciting. Like I said, the Brooklyn Nets don't have Kevin Durant, and that's what's not necessarily hurting them, but preventing them from being much better than they can be. The team is doing all right. Kyrie Irving has already been injury-plagued so far this year, and he is playing well for the Brooklyn Nets when he plays. Again, injuries have always been a problem for Kyrie Irving because mainly his style of play is not set for a long, enduring career. A great player, like I said, and I think that him going to the Nets was the exact right thing that needed to happen, because if Kyrie Irving made the decision to go to the Knicks and he went by himself, it would be an absolute disaster, and it would not be good whatsoever. So do I expect the Nets to make the playoffs? Yes. Do I expect them to win anything? Probably not. They could win a series. It all depends on who they play, but if that's going to happen, they're going to have to get a higher seed. Again, the teams in the East this year have actually buffered, and they've gotten a lot better than they have been previously. So again, as long as Kyrie Irving stays healthy, the Nets will make the playoffs interesting, but they won't win anything. Could they win a series? Yes, it also depends on who they play. But if they are in the 7th seed going into the playoffs, that will be a hello and goodbye for the Brooklyn Nets. They will not beat the 76ers. They will damn sure not beat the Bucks, and they will not beat probably any other team that's in the middle of the Eastern Conference. The Indiana Pacers are 17-9, and they're always a good team that gets overshadowed. As far as the playoffs goes, I feel like I've said time and time again how they're a good team, and they're just one piece away from really breaking through. The Pacers are good. They will certainly make the playoffs. It all depends on who they play. Obviously, they're not going to win, and the reason why I'm saying this about a lot of teams is because I feel like the teams that are at the top of the Eastern Conference are the ones that are going to win, clearly. There's about 3 teams I could legitimately see making it to the finals in the Eastern Conference. Not even 3, I'd say probably 2. And they won't win. Regardless of whoever makes it to the finals in the Eastern Conference is not going to win anything, and that's just my opinion. The Toronto Raptors. Now, losing Kawhi Leonard was technically considered a loss, and it was a loss. However, Siakam has stepped into that leadership role for the Toronto Raptors, and he's been doing very good. The team around him has been playing great as well. They're 16-8, and they are currently ranked 5th in the Eastern Conference. Had the playoffs were to end today, they'd be playing the Boston Celtics, and I think that would be a really good series that I'd be interested in seeing. The Raptors are very deep, and that is why I'm giving them the potential to make it to the NBA Finals. Siakam's great, and the Raptors are deep behind him. Could they make it to the NBA Finals? I think they have a chance, but I'm not quite sure because I need to see how they match up better, and I would need to see. It's really hard because the top 2 teams in the East are really looking really good, especially Milwaukee, which I'll get to in a minute. I don't see the Raptors making the finals, but I think that they could definitely sneak their way in there, and I'm definitely expecting a deep playoff run, at least maybe conference finals for the Toronto Raptors. Celtics, Kemba Walker, and all of the other players there. Kyrie Irving is on the Celtics. You know, how about this? Before Kyrie Irving joins the Celtics are a conference final team. He joins them, they get worse. He leaves, they get better. Again, not all his fault, but that's just kind of where the ball is rolling right now. The Boston Celtics are another team that can legitimately have a chance to make things threatening in the East in terms of the playoffs. Again, and it's really hard to sit here and talk about the playoffs because the season is so young. The Celtics are 17-7, and they're playing very well. They have only 1 loss on their home floor. They're scoring over 110 points a game, and Kemba Walker has fit into the Celtics very nicely, and the team around it has shown much better performance after Kyrie Irving's departure. Watch out for the Boston Celtics. We're going to see what we get from them. Surprising! Yes, I should say surprising. Now, I thought they were going to be decent, but I didn't think they'd be this good. Again, early in the season, but the Miami Heat are shocking a lot of people. Obviously, acquiring Jimmy Butler in the offseason, and that was big for the Miami Heat, and it ignited the team around him. However, outside of Jimmy Butler, the team is very young, and that is the problem. The Miami Heat could win a series in the playoffs, but the team is too young, and Jimmy Butler is not LeBron James. So I do not expect the Miami Heat to go very far. Could they make it to the semifinals? Maybe. But I don't expect them going any further than that because the team is not deep enough, and Jimmy Butler is not going to be your hero. The Philadelphia 76ers, on paper, are the best and deepest team in the Eastern Conference because that's Embiid, Simmons, Horford, and just a bunch of other guys, Harris as well, that the Sixers are so deep and good. I think the Philadelphia 76ers are a little bit overrated, but I've always been one of the people that have said that. But I think that they are a legitimate shoe to make it to the NBA Finals, and they're the deepest. Again, I'm going to go to the Milwaukee Bucks in a minute, but the Philadelphia 76ers are the deepest, and they have the best team on paper in the Eastern Conference. So I would say that it would probably favor them to make it to the Finals. But there's one man standing in their way, and that's Giannis Antetokounmpo of the Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks are currently winners of 17 games in a row. Giannis is playing at a godlike level, and that shows. 17 games in a row, 12-1 if I'm correct on their home court, and 11-2 on the road. They're 23-3 currently. I want to say the record for the most consecutive wins is 34, and I'm not saying they're going to break it, because you still have to realistically win another 17 games in a row and do exactly what you just did. But they're playing damn good, and Giannis is on another level. What worries me about them is the playoffs, because I don't know exactly what we'll get from the Milwaukee Bucks supporting cast in the playoffs. Again, Giannis is going to do what he does, and we know that. He's a big enough factor to change the game and the players around him. But if the Milwaukee Bucks just got an above-average superstar, just even like someone like DeRozan, who we haven't seen much of, I don't think. I haven't even been following DeMar DeRozan so much this year. But if they were to get somebody like him, or just somebody like Jimmy Butler, if the Milwaukee Bucks just got that one extra piece, I think they'd quite easily make it to the Finals. The Finals is going to run on the Eastern Conference side of things between the Milwaukee Bucks and the Philadelphia 76ers. It's really hard to pick this because Giannis is so dominant, and so are the Bucks. But I feel like the 76ers are the deepest team, but they also always choke. I'm going with the Milwaukee Bucks to make it to the NBA Finals for the Eastern Conference. At least right now, this is what we're seeing. We're going to see how the level of play continues. Thank you, everybody, for watching.